As a reminder, please silence all cell phones. Welcome to today's press conference for the Sacred Heart University Pioneers student athletes. Sacred Heart Sports Information Director is Allison Hogue. Today we are joined by student athletes Nicira Pryor, Carly Strommel, and Olivia Tucker. We'll now take questions for the student athletes. Please state your name and affiliation at the beginning of each question. If you're on the Zoom call and have a question, please use the raise hand function, and I will call on you if we have time for your questions.
Sorry. Marissa and Jimmy, San Francisco Chronicle. Nicira, just what are you kind of thinking about your matchup with Tawana? Have you gotten to see her much this year? And just what's it like knowing that it's a matchup here of freshman point guards?
She's a great player. We're just going to stick to the game plan. It's really not much to say. I haven't really seen her. She's not in our conference, but I think she's a great player.
Alex Simon with Bay Area News Group. For Olivia and Carly, and Nasir, if you want to chime in as well, just what has the last 16 hours been like since the win last night? How many messages have you guys gotten on your phones or anything like that? I'm assuming, Olivia, there's quite a few.
Yeah, a lot. Social media has been blowing up. I know our school has been blowing it up. The administration, we have the best administration you can ask for. Our fans are amazing. So social media has been crazy, but it's just been an awesome feeling. You know, I mean, it was a quick turnaround, but it was the first win ever in NCAA history, like for our school. So it's a huge accomplishment. I'm so proud of these girls and the coaches for coaching us through it as well.
Yeah, it's been really exciting. I mean, it's a really big stage that we're getting an opportunity to play on, and it's just been a really exciting opportunity for all of us to just kind of write a chapter in this book and create history for our school. And with everybody's support, it's been a really awesome experience so far. So.
Hi, ladies. Janie McCauley from Associated Press. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what, kind of following up on Alex, I mean, you suddenly win a game and have this triumph and first time ever, but suddenly you need to start game planning for tomorrow and watching film. And so how did you celebrate last night and get right back to work in the morning, or did you stay up late and start watching film, or how did the process go?
All right. Well, I guess we kind of celebrated last night. Obviously, it was a big win for us, first in history, so we had to take in that moment a little bit. This morning we got back to business, though, watched film, and locked in on our game plan, and now we're just headed into tomorrow and excited to see what we can do, and that's pretty much it.
I'll do one from up here. So, Nicira, you played 39 minutes, took a bunch of hits yesterday, driving to the basket. How are you feeling physically heading into tomorrow?
I'm feeling good. Body a little sore, but that's what comes with playing basketball, so I'm here.
Alex Simon with Bay Area News Group. Olivia, obviously there was a lot of volume of threes, and you've been a good three-point shooter on the season. Mm-hmm. Is it tough when they aren't falling to kind of keep wiping the mental slate and just keep moving on to the next shot when so many of them are bouncing off?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big part of being a shooter is having a shooter's mentality. And my teammates always had my back, and they always said, like, keep shooting the ball. That's what I'm known for. So just having them telling me to keep shooting the ball, they have confidence in me that really uplifts me when my shots aren't falling. It's a new gym, it's a new arena, so just trying to get used to the rims and the balls. But overall, like, my coaches believed in me, and they believed in me, so I'm going to continue to do what I do best.
And Carly, I don't know who the tallest team you guys have played this season is, but I would imagine Stanford ranks pretty high in terms of the size. What kind of challenge do they present inside for you guys tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely haven't matched up with anybody that's 6'7" yet this year, not in the NEC at least. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big challenge for us, but we're just going to have to stick to our game plan, stick with what we know, guard early, jam them, push them up the lane, and do what we can do. So.
I think it's a tradition up here to ask the question. There's been 1-16 versus 1 upset here. Did Coach told you about who it was and where it happened?
Yeah, she said it was Stanford. Well, why not Sacred Heart?
Mm-hmm.
And then any thoughts on Stanford and what they do well from your initial scout?
I can go. So after doing a lot of scout, they look for a lot of mismatches against our smaller guards. So I think just pushing up the posts is going to be a really important part of this. But yeah, I mean, they look for their teammates. They're like a selfless team, so they're always making extra passes. So I think it's really important to lock in, helping each other, help the helper. But yeah, they really look for mismatches, and that's really what we have to lock into. And they also like to offensive rebound, so we really have to put a body on someone and box them out.
And then Coach Minetti mentioned yesterday, tough first quarter, and you've had a few tough first quarters throughout the season. Is that going to be a point of emphasis so you don't fall behind against a Stanford team that might be a little harder to come back from?
For sure. Our defense has to be better. We take pride in our defense, and that's what we're going to do tomorrow. Just take pride in our defense and let that create our offense.
Yeah, and I'm sure, Southern obviously focused a lot of their attention on you, and I'm guessing that's something you've gotten used to throughout the EDC play. But when you go up against a brand new opponent, maybe not one in a conference the way that Southern wasn't in your conference, the way Stanford isn't, do you kind of have to be ready for something you're not expecting? Or do you kind of feel like they might just keep throwing the same thing at you?
Yeah, you always expect the unexpected, but you just play your game. You might not never know what they might throw at you, but you just play your game and you find your shooters when you're not hitting. Maybe. We never know.
I'm hoping for that.
Yeah.
And then maybe one more, people touched on, getting a lot of messages and a lot of congratulations. For each of you, did you have one in particular that stood out that you got last night or this morning after your win?
I would definitely say my parents. They actually flew to California, and it was an awesome surprise to see them. So they're my #1 supporters, and my brother at home. So I think just my family and friends reaching out, it's been an awesome experience, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, my parents too. They flew here and surprised me as well. So that was really awesome to be able to have them here last night supporting us, and just family, friends, administrators, everybody that's just reached out so far has been awesome.
Yeah, like they said, my parents, my family, but also a lot of people from my city. They was talking about how, putting on for the city and, helping the young girls come up that want to play basketball as well. So it was just amazing to see that I'm doing things outside of my own. Like I'm, helping other girls want to play basketball too.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Thank you, Nasira, Carly, and Olivia. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break, and then we'll be back with head coach Jessica Minetti. As a reminder, please silence all cell phones. Welcome to today's press conference for the Sacred Heart University Pioneers head coach, Jessica Minetti. Sacred Heart's Sports Information Director is Allison Hogue. We'll now take questions for Coach Minetti. As a reminder, please state your name and affiliation at the beginning of each question. If you're on the Zoom call and have a question, please use the raise hand function, and I will call on you if we have time for your questions.
Hi, Jessica. Janie McCauley from the Associated Press. A couple of your gals were just up here, and they said you did remind them that 16 seeds have. Well, congrats on the program's first win. Yes, what a whirlwind the last probably 12, 14 hours. But you reminded the women once you got back to work this morning that a 16 seed has won against a number one seed before, and it was 25 years ago right here, Stanford losing to Harvard. What was that conversation like? And Nicira just said, why not Sacred Heart?
Yeah, so the players, when they were told about the upset, they were like, wow, really? That was this team that was here? And I said, yeah. And fun fact, Allison just told me that Trish Brown, who's the head coach at Stonehill in our league, was a member of the Harvard team that actually upset Stanford at that time. So a fun little NEC connection. But I think that they're excited about the opportunity to have a David versus Goliath moment. You know, why not us? We've been proving people wrong the entire season. That's been every piece of our motivation in terms of saying, hey, nobody picked us preseason 6th. We were 2-9 coming into the conference season. Like, nobody expected anything from us. We had all these freshmen. We lost 4 out of 5 of our top scorers from the year before. And they have really been motivated to prove everybody wrong. Up until last night when NCAA March Madness women's basketball did a poll that didn't have us picked to win. And so that was fuel to propel us to come out and just keep proving everybody wrong. So I think it's a great opportunity. I mean, wouldn't that be a story to tell one day? You know, I mean, it's going to be tough 40 minutes to play great basketball against an unbelievable team. I mean, they're so talented and so good, but what a story that would be.
Alex Simon from Bay Area News Group. I believe you grew up watching the Connecticut teams and kind of grew up a Connecticut fan. What do you kind of remember about Stanford from afar and from the other side of the country as a women's basketball fan, player, coach over the years?
Wow. So I was doing the scout this morning, and I said to one of my coaches, can you believe we're pulling up our little fast scout for Stanford? Oh my gosh, our little just play scout. This is amazing. They're historic. They are a perennial powerhouse women's basketball program. They've had Coach Tara Vanderveer has had a storied career. She's an amazing pioneer for women's basketball. And they have huge expectations for their program, right? Year in and year out, lots of pressure. They've performed year after year to bring home national championships, compete at the highest level. So yeah, as a fan, you know, I've always been more exposed to teams like UConn and Tennessee, teams that were on our side of the country a little bit more because they were publicized a little bit more. But man, you talk about Stanford and you just think powerhouse in women's basketball, historic powerhouse, right? So I have so much respect for this program and what they've done and what they've achieved and what the staff has done for women's basketball, just how they've carried it forward with their players and their program. And it's incredible to be here and be a part of that story.
Marissa and Jimmy, San Francisco Chronicle. How do you think you match up with Stanford? Like, what areas are you looking at, and where do you feel like you can kind of maybe sneak in an advantage?
That's a great question. We looked at some areas this morning. I think they have a lot of mismatches they can expose on our end. Obviously, this is the biggest team we've ever played against. Their post play is dynamite. They have really talented guards. They run a very, very disciplined system with a lot of reads and cuts and different ways they maximize their strengths. I think for us, tempo is always going to be a really big part of what we do well. Our best and most efficient offense is transition. So if we are able to really rebound, I think rebounding is going to be a big piece of our success tomorrow, really disrupt them and force tough shots. And if we're able to rebound and run and get out in tempo, I think we'll feel really confident knowing, hey, we're playing the game we want to play. But if they slow us down a little bit and we're not able to rebound and we're giving up 2 and 3 second chance opportunities, I think they'll really maximize that deficiency that we're going to have with that size. So I'm hoping And I think our players kind of watched some film today and saw, hey, like we can really maximize some strengths against them. We just have to be really locked in. They're going to challenge us for every possession of that 40 minutes and really force us to play great basketball.
2 questions for you.
Yeah.
You guys were able to do a lot of sagging off and kind of pack it inside against Southern and kind of dare them to shoot from 3, which they didn't really do.
Yeah.
The Stanford team has been playing a lot inside recently, but they still have a couple, and Hannah Jump in particular, who are pretty darn quality from outside. I guess, is that kind of the balancing act of we know we need help inside, but there's a few players out there that we really can't let get open looks from 3?
Yeah, I mean, we were fortunate enough last night to be able to play more of a sagging, switching, defensive approach, just because we knew how to minimize some of the ways they wanted to get downhill into the paint. Stanford's offense is so different. Their players are so different. So it's certainly going to be a different approach. And we're going to have to double the post. We're going to have to send to really help and really be smart about who we double off of and who we're giving shots to. But they're great players, and they're going to make big plays and have big moments. So we're just going to give our best effort and see how it goes.
Within that, in the last 16 whatever many hours, just what messages maybe have meant the most to you to receive kind of in the aftermath of the win last night?
It's so overwhelming to handle the amount of texts and social media that we've received. It's such a great feeling, and you want to respond to everybody. You have like hundreds of texts that you want to respond to everybody. I think some of the most meaningful texts have come from where I was given an opportunity. So the coaching staff that gave me an opportunity to have my first AAU program, my high school athletic director, my high school basketball coach, obviously my mother, who has been the biggest fan, and my sisters, who have been the biggest support system you could ask for. But I think those people that remind you where it all started are so special. Athletic directors from other schools that I've worked for, my high school volleyball coach, who I remain very close to this day. Like moments like that where you get to come full circle and say, oh my gosh, all these people believed in me, all these people gave me these great opportunities, and now look at where you are. You don't get here without them. You don't get here with a group of people that believe in you. And as a coach, you hope to touch people's lives like that because of the people that touched yours. So those are the ones I'm most thankful for.
And I believe your mother was with you at the NEC championship. Did she make it out this way for the game as well?
No, she wasn't able to come, but she's here in spirit. She's texted and called, and she's so excited. So I wish she was here.
One from up here. I think one thing that's interesting is your team just played in the tournament, and conference tournament, and then you fly out here, you play an extra game. And so you might be tired, but you're right in the swing, and you're kind of at full steam. As Stanford, they've had a long rest. They had the tournament the week before. They were eliminated a little earlier. So like they haven't played a game in a long time. What do you think the balance is, and how do you take advantage of the positive side of that versus the negative of just being tired?
Yeah, it's a great point. They're tired. I mean, March 3rd was our last league game, and then we jumped right into playoffs 3 days later, and it was, game, practice, game, practice, game, championship. We fly here, practice, tournament game, and then off tomorrow. They're tired, but they're so excited. I think this adrenaline, this energy that they get not only from this experience and opportunity, but from each other, is what really has been able to get them to this next play. Like even last night, we were tired after the first quarter. We were gassed, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope we have enough legs. But I think the experience, the part of this holistic experience where we're really appreciating this opportunity, we're really playing for each other, we're celebrating these moments, I think that gives us that energy to really be able to survive. Because the survive advance is real. It's a real feeling right now for us, and they're doing such an amazing job to just find balance in that physically and mentally.
And then before the game last night or all this week, have you talked to Tara? And if so, what was that conversation like?
Oh, she's so graceful. She actually came out last night before the game to welcome us to Stanford, checked in, made sure everything was going well, congratulated us on a great season, wished us the best moving forward. So she's incredible. She has been such a role model for somebody like me who has done so much for the game. To watch her pioneer our sport and just bring it to this place is amazing. So to get to talk to her last night was special, and my players were all excited about it. Coach, you got to talk to Tara, so it was great. She was wonderful.
And then who's one player from Stanford or one matchup that might keep you up tonight stressed?
Oh, all of them. There's not just, you just want me to pick one? Every single one of them. I mean, they have weapons everywhere on the floor and coming off their bench. It's like all of them stress me. I think their post play is the piece for me that we have to be really diligent about and disciplined about with how we game plan for it. But they're so talented and they belong here. They're here for a reason, and there's not one of them you can really not game plan for.
Any more questions for Coach Benetti? Thank you, Coach, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.